We're talking about the murder of 4 very young people, some of them still children.
Abducted out of a Burger Chef restaurant and then found murdered.
With 0 forensic evidence, 0 suspects, or even persons of interest, rumors are spreading quickly. However, a new theory, one still supported by some investigators, was beginning to take shape. On November 18th, before the bodies were found, a man named David Cathart showed up to a bar in Greenwood, Indiana, telling everyone that he was with the group who did it. Investigators interrogated David about his claims, and David recanted. But he did reveal that he was a member of a robbery crew that had been targeting burger chefs in the weeks leading up to the murders. The men often parked at a distance, walked right up to the restaurant, robbed it, and then drove one of the employees' vehicles back to their car, left it there, which could explain, of course, why Jane's car was found 2 miles away.
So this robbery crew had never gotten violent before. So what would have changed this time that they would go and murder 4 young people? Some investigators theorize that Jane may have recognized them. While there was never enough evidence to convict any of these men of the crime, a new lead developed that some investigators still believe is the truth. In 1984, Detective Mel Wilsey received a call that an inmate at the Pendleton Correctional Facility was ready to confess to the Burger Chef murders. Donald Wayne Forrester. He was in prison serving a 95-year sentence for a woman. Wilsey taped the first confession and learned that Donald had grown up in Johnson County and knew the murder location as a makeout spot for local teenagers. He was living in Speedway at the time of the murders as well, after having been released for a prior conviction. Donald said that Jane Freet's brother, James, owed money from a drug deal, which worked since James was also currently in prison on a drug conviction. Donald said he and other associates went to the Burger Chef to intimidate Jane. Things went sideways when Mark tried to fight them off and smacked his head on their van's bumper. Fearing that Mark was dead, Donald and the others drove them to Johnson County to get rid of any witnesses. Donald's ex-wife also claimed that they returned to the scene the next day to clean up the shell casings before they flushed them down the toilet, and Donald said he owned a .38 caliber firearm. Well, they got a search warrant and they went into the septic tank, and in fact, they found the shell casings in there. However, while Detective Wilsey and some sources claim that they found .38 caliber casings, lead detective Jim Kramer said that they only found .22 caliber casings. So there's some discrepancy there. At this point, at least for Detective Kramer, the whole confession fell apart. Detective Wilsey claimed that Donald recanted his confession after it was leaked to the media, and the DA didn't want to pursue charges because he was already serving what would be a life sentence later on. Still, Detective Kramer said that Donald was enraged when they learned his confession was bogus, because of course they're enraged. Like, God, we thought we had this solved. We thought we had our guy. Now we're back at square one. Detective Wilsey still believes he was the killer.